بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. I feel like in the school again. You know when you start school and you get all your friends for so after in the summer holidays. You probably don't get a novelty, but I used to get a novelty. My mum used to take me stationery box.
New pencil case
And everything else. Nowadays it was Jurassic Park. That was a long time ago. I'm talking about the old Jurassic Park, not the new ones. That's how it was. Dr. Zubair, you remember, right? That's junior school then.
Yeah.
We were in junior school together. And infants. It was called, what's it called now? Primary. We used to call it infants.
Infant, juniors, and high school.
Yeah. So we were. Cycle. Okay, so we'll do a few recap things quickly, inshallah. Some of you I know go to Marcus on a Thursday, right? So we had this discussion. We had a mashwara. We're going to continue, but the recordings will be available for those of you who can't make it because you go Marcus. So we don't want to kick you out, or we don't want you to make a choice between the two. But if you are going Marcus, it's your habit, and that's what you do on a Thursday. Bismillah, go for it, no problem, inshallah. But just make sure you keep on top of it. Quick question: who does stuff outside of lesson? I asked this last time. Be honest. Who actually looks through things and thinks, I'm going to sit down? Who doesn't look at anything outside? Let's shame someone. Who doesn't look at anything? Who just thinks,
I intended to.
You intended to. That's a very diplomatic answer. I like that. You're going to be a politician. You're a politician, maybe?
Not in this country.
No, in this country. Yeah. Right. So, anybody else who doesn't look at anything?
No, this week I didn't.
Yeah. You have to. You'll drop out. Like, I'm being honest with you. It's like anything in life. If you don't do it, you'll just fall out. Right. So just, even if it's 5 minutes, just sit down. I know you're all busy with family and kids and work. Just five minutes. Just find 5 minutes somewhere. 10 minutes. Just look for your notes. Scribble some notes. Make sure you kind of like fully out. You kind of roughly know where we're going with all of this. All right. So I'm just going to quickly do like a quick recap before we actually go into the lesson. So what was the first thing that we learned really before we even went into anything? Can you remember? Ism. Before Ism. Kalima. What's a kalima, guys?
Words.
Yeah. So kalima. Everything starts from a kalima. Right. What's the next thing that we learned? Yeah. So Ism, yeah, before that, then we're going to say. So we did Isms first, yeah? So this is the next stage. Right? So you go on Ism. I'm not going to do the Madina, yeah? You're used to it. Fi'lun harfun. We haven't touched this yet, yeah? We haven't touched this. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to spell it out a bit more. So Ism, Fi'lun, and harfun. We've touched a little bit about Fi'l and harfun, but we haven't really gone into it, right? We haven't really gone into it. What have we learned about isms?
Types recognized.
Yeah, go on. So somebody else tell me as well. Go on. Yeah. So you have different types. Anything else? I'rab. What else?
Prefixed.
Subject, prefix. Yeah. So we haven't got into number. Have we got into number yet? We have the gender yet. We need to gender next. Yeah, we're going to do gender today. But yeah, ism. So kalima. Let me just tidy it a bit more for you guys. So you have kalima at the top. There's 3 types. Yeah. We've touched upon fi'l and harf, but we haven't gone into it. I kind of said there's past, present, and future. We did a bit. So ism. What are 2 broad types of isms? Definite. Indefinite. What's the Arabic for? I'm going to point at someone. What's the Arabic for definite? Marifat. What's the Arabic for Ahmad? Because you've not been revising, so I'm going to pick on you. Nakir. It's okay. So you've been redeemed, Ahmad. Yeah. So Ma'rifa, which is Ma'rifa, I know you, right? So definite. So, and then you have Nakira. Alright? So Ma'rifa. How do we know something is a Ma'rifa? Al-Islam. Yeah, telltale sign. We did the Quran, we opened the Quran on Thursday's lesson, and I got you all to look at. That's like a telltale sign that word is a noun. Yeah? Like every noun will have an alif lam. right? And nakira is usually it'll be in dhammatain, kasratain, but we'll leave that for now. Anything else I've missed out, guys?
The exceptions of that last week.
There's an exception to the rules. Okay, so who's going to tell me the first one?
Intangible words.
He's not even here last week and he's remembering it. So he's memorizing it all.
Just the next.
You've just done it, it's fresh. Right, so you can check if they said it right. Okay, so that's what you're going to do, Tayyub. So the first one, what was some of the exceptions? So it was exceptions to, was it Ma'rifah? Yeah, exceptions, some rules. Just basic rules, you don't have to remember the exceptions. And how many were there altogether? I think it was 4, or a lot more. There was 3, right? Right. Somebody tell me, Shazad, pick one exception. Can you remember?
Tangible.
Tangible. So tell us about it. Tayyib, listening to you. So Tayyib, if you're not happy with his answer, you've got to tell him to say it again. Go on, just say. Just say what you remember. Tangible, intangible, right?
Something you can see and
Yeah.
it's close.
So something, there's 2 types of things generally in existence. There's things that you can touch and things you can't touch, right? So I think the example we did, which example did we? Prophet, right? Ar-Rasul, Lu. And then you have things like, what example did I give last week? Knowledge. Yeah. So what's the difference between them? Why do we do it?
So with ilm, it's
Yeah.
just because of the exceptional rule. So ilm, there's no al in front of it. So it's just ilm.
It's knowledge.
You can't touch it, feel it, or buy it.
Yeah. Yeah. So like
The colour.
so there you go.
You mentioned the colour green.
Yeah, green, right? Green is something. So philosophically speaking, green doesn't exist. Logically speaking, green doesn't exist. It exists in something. This is like going into something else that you study, inshallah, if you stay on for 5-6 years. Right? But you'll get into all of this. This is like thinking rationally about things, right? So green, knowledge, all of these things, they don't exist, right? When you say knowledge, like, what does it mean, knowledge? When you say, oh, it's green, what does it mean it's green? It's colored green. So, or when you say beautiful, or all these other descriptions that you have, they don't exist in of themselves, right? They exist in something, but we use it in language. This is when you get into, I won't go into it because some of the modern concerns are to do with people who don't think in this way properly. So you have things like knowledge. So what is about ilm? How would you translate that?
Knowledge.
Not our knowledge.
Just knowledge.
Who thinks it should be knowledge only? But I know democracy, which I don't like here. Who thinks it should be our knowledge? Why is it only knowledge? Someone give me a reason for it. I want a reason. Because I've been telling you that's our knowledge. Yeah, because it's intangible. Isn't that what I said? Yeah. Okay. Second exception to the rule. You were looking down. Go on, you were looking up. Go on, Brave. Do you remember?
Tangibles.
Yeah. So we've done that one, haven't we? Intangible, intangibles. What can you remember? I think it was a particular word that we picked out.
Person.
Yeah, go on.
That ma'ru or maru.
Al-mar'u, yeah, go on. Al-mar'u, a person.
That person, yeah.
Yeah, so even though al-mar'u has an alif lam before it, normally you say it was the person, but it's here, it's just a person. Anybody remember the hadith that we did? Because I took you straight to Arabic from here. We jumped straight to hadith. Al-mar'u ma'a man ahabba. So you don't say the person is with that person they love, it's a person is with that love, with whom they love. So straight away in the first 4 lessons, you've looked at Alhamdu, you looked at Hadith as well. So I'm going to try and do that in a lesson so you can see where we're going with
What's
this.
the hadith again?
Al-mar'u ma'a man ahabba. If you want to get better and speed up quickly, I would suggest on your iPhone or thingy, get the Arabic keyboard set up as well. Yeah? So, on your keyboards, obviously you have English, but you can set it up so it goes to different languages with a button. There's a button where we have globe buttons. Yeah, and you can basically you can do search in Arabic and start getting used to it. Just search random stuff like slowly. You just start getting used. You just find so much knowledge on there. There'll be stuff that you can even learn Arabic on there slowly as well, right? So you can start searching for hadith on there as well. So if you want to do that, just slowly. If you see something like in hadith in Quran, just start typing on your keyboard. So just get used to typing Arabic on your keyboard as well. Can you see? Al-mar'u ma'a man ahabba. Yeah? A person will be with whom they love. Habba is a fi'l, yeah? That person they love. i.e. on the Day of Judgment. That was the second exception, Jazakallah. The third one, that was the third one. Was that? So we're done, yeah? Any questions? Any questions? Alright, I give you 4 words to learn for vocab. Only 4, yeah, come on, man. Like, right, so are you ready or you're like nervous? Okay. Shazad, Yasin, can you start with the word for imam?
Imam.
You got to finish. So go to imamun, singular, jama, plural, imamun,
Imamun.
and imamun, jama. So you got it. So the imamun is a singular. Imamun. And then we use a jim for jama, which means plural. A'immatun. We'll come to that in a second. Imamun, jama, a'immatun. That's how you say it. Imamun, jama, a'immatun. What's the English for tiflun? Child. And the plural? Atfalun. Tiflun, jama, atfalun. You asked me a question. You asked me a question last week. Waladun. So it's just basically like you said. I think it was you that said tiflun, waladun. It's just as you get older. You know, we say child, children, teenager, like that. Yeah. I should have shared the answer on the group. I didn't. Sorry. What's the word for pen in Arabic? Plural. Beautiful. Yeah. Qalamun, jama, aqlamun. Can you give me the English for imra'atun? Imra', women. Yeah? And anybody know the 2 plurals for it? Nisa'un and niswatun, right? So just remember that. Just practice it. You just have to know them, right? So even if you can't remember right now, we'll get used to it because I'll start bringing those in. Any questions? Any questions? Right. We're going to start today's lesson, inshallah. We've got like a rubber. Like a just took a while. Tissues case. Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Exactly. Yeah, right. Sorry, exactly. Right. We're going to do gender today, right? Gender. Which is very topical at the moment. You should be following the news. You will be frightened with what they're going to teach your children and stuff, right? Yeah, all that stuff, right? Don't call me he or she, call me they or all this stuff. Which is something that we all need to learn how to deal with it, right? So that's maybe one day we'll do that separately from this class. So today's a topic that we're going to do called gender. Okay, gender. Okay. For a second, in English, every word you think of will be gendered, right? Male or female, you know. Can someone think of an example? Ship. What is that, male or female?
Female.
How do you know it's female?
In movies they say she's a beauty.
She's a beauty in the movie. Okay. If that's how you get truth from a movie, we'll take that. Yeah, she's a beauty. Ship. Right? But there's no rule for it, is there? From the word itself. Can someone give me another example? Country, what's on? If you disagree, let me know, yeah? I don't get wrong. Anybody else? Give me a male example. Just any word that we know intuitively it's masculine. Right, we say masculine, don't we? Pen? Pen is masculine? You think so? We don't think about this, do we? Because we just kind of like, we just use it unless it's used in a certain way. Anyone else?
Sometimes for animals.
Animals, yeah. So go on.
You say lion and lioness.
Lion, lioness, yeah. So sometimes we actually, so that's a good one. Because that one, it is, they made it distinct, haven't they? You separated it out, yeah? Lion, lioness. Anything else? Can you think of an example like that is where we do actually have a word for male and female, like in English for something? Yeah. Anybody else?
Princess.
Sorry? Prince, princess, yeah? So we do have it. I mean, sometimes it makes sense to have it, right? I don't know how long these will last because they'll say, well, we want one for us and we want one for us. They're all fighting amongst themselves, by the way. Some of them are like, you know that, don't you? They're not one group. They put all the letters together, but they're not one group. They don't all get, a lot of them don't get on each other. That's because I've been reading into all of this, so you find out that actually they're not good friends with each other. Right, so this is just in English, right? We just do this. What's wrong, Yasin?
Very straight.
Sorry?
It's very straight.
It's really nice. It's kind of.
That's how I think about it.
Oh, is that meant to be like a pun or a joke or something? We're trying to keep it straight. Right, we're Muslims. We're proud to be who we are, alhamdulillah, right? So we're not getting into all of that. Right. So that's just some English for you, right? Now, you know, we always have this thing, and I hope it stays for a while. That this idea of ladies first. Right, ladies first. Now, the feminists will say, "How dare you say that? Are you saying them weak or something?" You know, when you open a door for some women, they say to you, well, they haven't said it to me, but they sometimes say to you, "Why do you open a door for me?" We do have adab and respect, but they see as like, you know, you're showing that you're somehow lower and beneath them. We don't think of it that. We do have adab. We respect our mothers and our sisters, right? That's our way of doing things. And we're going to carry on doing that. We're not going to buy into all of that stuff. But for grammatical purposes, there are certain rules that you just need to know for Arabic, okay? For feminine. So I'm going to do feminine first because ladies first. So feminine. Okay, because they're the easiest ones to spot. And if they don't fit these, it's masculine. So it's like masculine will come at the end, but it's usually feminine, right? Feminine. We're still doing nouns, right? We haven't moved on. So we're still doing nouns. So there's three ways that you'll know or you'll work out something is a word, a noun is feminine. Right, so 1, 2, 3. Oh, I might as well tell you the word. Anybody remember what the word for feminine is in Arabic? Mu'annath. Mu'annath. Right? Or if you want to be correct, mu'annathun. Yeah? Mu'annath. 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 That's the word for feminine. Mu'annath. 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 That's how we say mu'annath. So that's the Arabic for feminine. So one way you'll know is just by the name. So for example, the example they give is this one. Maryam. There's nothing in the word itself that tells you it's feminine, but you just know it's feminine. Yeah, Maryam. Mary or Maryam, yeah. Maryam. Or he's written Maryam, but yeah, Maryam. Alright? So Maryam. Or you have the word Ummun. Mother. Mother. That's Maryam. Anybody know, for bonus points today, anybody know what's the plural for Ummun? Ummahat. Where does it come from? Where do you always say Ummahat?
No.
Khutbah. Or you hear ulama. Why? What does it mean? Ummahatul mu'mineen. The mother of the believers, or the mothers of the believers. Yeah? So they are our mothers, religiously speaking or spiritually speaking. Yeah? So Ummahat. If you want to learn, I don't know if that's in your. No, it's not in your list. It's almost scary. So that's called, by the way. I use all my colours today. That's called natural gender. Hope you can see that, natural gender. Like, you don't need to know this. Like you just know the word. When you see the word, you know it's feminine. But I'm just telling you because this is how it works, right? So, can you give me some more examples, guys? Just a word that you know, like. Oh, English and Arabic doesn't matter. Sorry, go on. Sahabiyat, right? A name of any woman or Sahabiyat, right? Is that what you meant, or did you mean Sahabiyat? Sahabiyat, yeah. Sahabiyat. No, that's actually not the one. That's going to come up, yeah. That's going to come back. Sorry, that's a good one. Come back to that. We're going to come to. That's going to be one of the ones that will come later. The second and third one. Anything else?
Binti.
Binti, yeah. Bint. Yeah. Any female name, generally speaking. Yeah, Aisha. What about like from this category, like mother, grandmother, sister, wife, zawj. Yeah, well, zawjatun, yeah, that can be done. But these words are just naturally feminine, like we have them, right? Just like in English, they're just naturally feminine. When you say mother, it's feminine, right? There's no rule to it, right? The second one is an interesting one, which is probably like one of the most common ones, which is that it has this on at the end. Yeah. So if they have this letter, which is called a ta marbuta, because it's round, yeah. Marbut, ta marbuta, right? Rabat, ribat, you have these words that come from there as well. Marbut.
Is this
So-
where the name, Mabel comes from?
Yeah, so because you do this. Yeah. So marbuta, it's called a ta marbuta. A ta'u al marbuta. I'll write it down for you. A ta'u al marbutatu. Yeah. Lokish.
Does Marbuta mean round? That's the word.
Yeah. You're all very tired today.
Yes.
You're all very tired today.
How come we start at Tanveen?
4 seconds. It took long. Yes, it should be only one tanween. Yeah, I had to give you so many clues to tell you that I've done it wrong. And that was on numbers, obviously. At-ta'u al-marbutatu, right? And everybody knows why that was a mistake. But you just holding taqleed and Maulana, whatever it is, we just do that. Maulana just gets through this. Yeah, at-ta'u al-marbuta. You can't be at-ta'u al-marbuta. It's not correct. So what's that also telling you? Grammatically. Definite. What else? It's a noun, isn't it? You straight away you know it's down. Yeah, alif lam. The round ta. Yeah. The round ta. At-ta'u al-marbutatu, right? So when you see that at the end, you'll generally speaking, that will tell you that it's a feminine word. Can you think of any?
Zawja.
Zawjatun, yeah? Zawjatun. What does that mean? Zawjatun. Zawjatun, yeah, at the end. Can you see? We write it like this, but it's a ta'u marbutatu. Or you have, inshallah, jannatun. Jannatun. So you know, like words like this are feminine, yeah, because it's got a ta marbuta. A ta'u al marbutatu. Anyone else think of another word? Sayyaratu. What's sayyaratu? Car. A car or car? A car. Why?
There's no other before it.
No, but why is it? No, yeah, it's right. But is it a car or car? Can you see the question I'm asking you? When we were doing this about tangible, intangible, so what will it be?
It's tangible.
It's tangible, so what will the translation be? Is that right?
So if it's intangible, it'll be
Just like knowledge. Yeah. Just so let's try and think like that now. Yeah. Let's try and put it into practice. So yeah. Somebody give me an example of something that's intangible, maybe I can't think of right now. That might be with the marbuta at the end. Can you think of something? I'm pushing you guys a bit. Khidr, as in Khidr in Surah Kahf.
Number.
Sorry?
Number arba'atun.
Arba'atun, yeah. Arba'atun, 4, right?
Okay.
Arba'atun. So, do numbers exist? Philosophically.
Yeah.
We use them.
Can't touch them though.
Can you see, you get into all of these interesting do numbers actually exist? Because we created numbers. Yeah, saying do numbers exist because you're a mathematician. So I'm putting you in the spot. You have a PhD as well? Well, you were doing a PhD. Do numbers actually exist, guys? This is just a random question. Like, because we take everything for given in life, right?
It must be an attribute to something. Right?
Sorry?
It must be an attribute to something that exists.
Can you touch 4? Can you see 4?
No.
So why do we use 4 then?
Yeah, we touch 4 people.
Sorry. This is something for you to think about, right? So,
It's just
we see human beings are ingenious creatures, mashallah. Right? We think of things like we can think of things in a way that animals can't, other creatures can't. Right? We can create these we can think in these theoretic, abstract levels because it's an abstraction, right? It's a high level of thinking at that level. Most of us think like 4 states. My daughter asked me, she said, I was having a conversation with her about this. I was saying, where does 4 come from? Because obviously the teacher told us. Okay, I'm like, yeah, so the teacher told you that 4 exists, but where does it exist? Can you get me 4? Can you buy me a box of 4s? Box of 5s or box of 6s? Yeah. This is all stuff that I'll teach you at advanced level, inshallah, if you stay on. Not with Arabic, but this is when you get into theology and kalam and stuff. How do you prove God exists? Right? Because you can't prove it without all of these. These are a high level of thinking. I'm just showing you these things because I find it really interesting. Right? But if you're going to watch YouTube guys debating about Aqidah, you're not going to learn at this level. They're not going to talk to you at this level. They're just going to fight each other. But you're going to you have to really grapple with these things like 4, does it exist? 5, does it exist? Where is 5? Where is 6? Why do we create these things? Where do these things come from? 0, does 0 even exist? Right? So these things. You're going to get lost, you're going to end up becoming lost from Right, so 1, 2. Okay, so 1 is a natural gender, which is just that you know. The second one is at-ta al-marbutatu, with the ta al-marbuta at the end, right? They call it round ta, or they also sometimes call it the joint ta. The reason being, you don't need to know this, but I'll just tell you this, is that what's the other type of ta that you have? Like this, right? Right? So the way it is called a marbuta is what you're doing with the marbuta, you're just joining it like this. You join these parts, 2 parts together. So the joint ta as well. Yeah. Joint. So ta al-marbuta, robots. You have like in Arabic ribats, which in Arab cultures is for the khanka. You know how we have the zawiya, the khanka. You guys don't know. Like when you go for zikr and stuff like that. So it's to keep you firm, right? So that's why tasawwuf is very, very important. It's very important science. So natural gender. Then you have what shall we call this one? We call it ta marbuta, but I'll just call it with a grammatical sign, which is this. Okay? But you don't need to. That's just to keep it complete with a grammatical sign. All right. The final one is it's like in English basically. Let me write it down. Arab usage, because we're learning Arabic. This is how they use it, because we're learning their language, right? And we're gonna become ourselves Arab. Then we will also have use it in the same way. Like we have the example you gave about ship. In Arabic usage, it's just used like that. Because this one's specifically a law, it's an Arabic gender. This one has a ta marbuta, and sometimes it's an Arab usage. For example, a lot of body parts that are double. Body parts. Just an example. Body parts that are double are feminine. Yeah. Body parts that are double. Yadayn. Yad is 1. Yadayn is 2 hands. That would become feminine. Most, yeah. Or for example, tribes. Tribes that they have. Quraysh, these are the words. Quraysh comes. Anybody know what Quraysh means? I'll teach my daughter this because they've got exams coming up in a few weeks. So we were doing the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ, and they're doing those an-nasiha books, mashallah. So I will try and like teach them a bit extra, so they need to impress the examiner, like tell them things that's not in the book. So they said there's Quraysh in there. Well, I went to Haroon, so I'm going to help my kids out, So I said Quraysh. Oh, Muhammad ﷺ is from the Quraysh family. So I said, oh, do you know what Quraysh means? I'm not going to tell you how I told her to remember it because it's not used to record it. But anybody know what Quraysh means? Shark. Actually, the root is actually sharks. Huh? Yeah. Sorry? It's landlocked, but it's great. I'll try and share some. Maybe during the weekend I'll send you a video. I'll write something up, or I'll make a video explaining why. Why were they called sharks? Qarasha, yeah. Quraysh. So you don't just learn Arabic with me, you learn some etymology of words as well, where words come from.
Gosh.
There's a reason why they call themselves these things as well. They're very proud of it, right? So we just call ourselves Patels and this tribe and that tribe. Or what do we call ourselves from this village to that village? But the Arabs are very sophisticated people, even Jahili people as well. So anyway, tribes, body parts, these sort of things which will come into numbers, certain things will come later on. They are also just Arabic usage basically. So these are the three things that will be feminine. If it doesn't fall into any of these categories, G.
Is that Karasa?
Qarasha, sorry. That was a genuine mistake. So Qarasha or Quraysh, I'll give you some notes on this inshallah later on. And maybe when we get into poetry one day, you'll get to appreciate it. Because this is like, for me, it deepens my relationship with my faith. I know what words mean, their history. And there's a reason why Allah Ta'ala put Muhammad in the family of the Quraysh, right? So you start getting on to it, oh wow, Allah, people are like picked from pre-eternity that Muhammad was going to be from this particular tribe at this point in human history. Right? So it's important. So if it doesn't fall into any of these, basically, then it falls into what's the opposite? Anybody know what's the Arabic for masculine? Muzakkar, yeah. Muzakkar mu'annas. Muzakkar mu'annas. Just remember it. Muzakkar mu'annas. It's masculine. Muzakkar. Muzakkar mu'annas. Right? Muzakkar, sorry. I'm struggling with writing. It's just muzakkar. So in the book that we're following, broadly speaking, you'll find on page 21 some examples, and I'll send a screenshot of that later. If somebody reminds me, I'll send a screenshot of that. Some words, it's just how the Arabs use it in the feminine, right? So for example, Ardun, which means earth, which is Ardun, which is in the Quran, right? خَلَقَ اللَّهُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. Ard is feminine. Dunya, dana, dunya means, the word dunya means something that's very close. Akhir is something that's come later. Right? So dunya is like dana. Allah mentions in the Quran, and Prophet met Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, فَكَانَ قَابَ قَوْسَيْنِ أَوْ أَدْنَى. Adna is a particular word of dunya. So dunya is something that's immediate. And so we are in the immediate realm. And because we're so engrossed in what's in front of us, we forget what's to come after, and that's human failing. That we always get lost in the immediate, in the moment, right? Whereas a wise person, he thinks about tomorrow, he thinks about the long term, thinks about long-term strategy, right? Not making immediate profits just to lose later on, or not becoming greedy late now. But so a wise person doesn't Ibn al-Waqt. He's a person of the moment, but he doesn't get lost in the moment, right? Everything that's happening in the world right now, he knows it's going to come and go. So there's another word, which rijlun. It's not rajulun, but rijlun means feet. But when you say arjulun, it becomes feminine because you have 2 feet. Yeah, remember, yeah? Rihun, wind. Rih, it's in the Quran. وَأَرْسَلْنَا الرِّيحَ Riyah. Sulaiman alayhi salam. Rih is also feminine. So I'm just giving you some feminine words. Sama'un, samawatun. Sama'un, the sky, the heavens and the skies are also feminine as well. These are Arabic uses. The sun, Shamsun. Shamsul A'imma. One of my, I have a student that's just joined me recently. She's doing a PhD with me. She's doing someone called Shamsul A'imma As-Sarakhsi. His name is, these people like this, they give their children like amazing names. Or like these have like really long names. So it's called Shamsul. I have a book that I collect all of these names, by the way. Shamsul A'imma. Yeah. The son of the Imams. As-Sarakhsi.
Is Shamsun definite or indefinite?
Here it's Shamsul A'imma. It's Shamsul A'imma. It's indefinite, I think. Shamsul A'imma. No, it's definite. It's because of Muzaf. but we're not going to go into it now. It's definite because of a reason. Shamsul it's muzaf, but we won't go into it because there's izafa going on. We'll get to that inshallah. Eyes, ayn, one. Uyun, two eyes, becomes feminine. Right? Fire, narun, which the plural is nirwan, it's feminine. Fire is feminine. You can read books about why it has feminine. They use it in poetry. So when you get into poetry and you use it, you understand why it makes sense. Soul, nafsun. The nafs, there's different words they use, ruh and so on. But nafs is also, or soul is also known to be feminine. Yadun, jama aydin, or ayadin is feminine as well because two parts. Alright. So everything else is masculine, alright? So just those three things. Right, I'm gonna go around. You're gonna look at the whiteboard, but that means you're cheating. So I know you're cheating. So I'm gonna go around, just quickly recap. This is Tayyab, you ready? Tayyab, tell me the first rule of feminine, the first type of feminine. They've started here to try to whiteboard. And he's like, I was doing so well until now.
The second one,
Atta on marbuta. To go and tell me. So just tell me a bit more about it.
If it ends in the ta marbuta, then it's feminine.
Feminine, right? Okay. Dr. Zubs, tell me the one that Tayyab hasn't said.
So the proper one, so names like
Maryam. The naturalized one, yeah. Good. Next one, the final one. He's frantically looking for it, like it was here in front of me 2 seconds ago. Oneness, come on. Arab usage. Yeah. So how they just use it like in everyday language. So the tribes. Yeah, similar to that, yeah, basically, yeah. Alright. And if it doesn't fall into those three, what does it fall into? Masculine. Muzakkar. Muzakkar. What's the word for feminine? What's the word for muzakkar? What's the word for muannas? Masculine. Let's see if we can slip up. Feminine. Masculine. Alright, feminine. Muannas. Muzakkar. Well then, masculine. Yeah. Are you muzakkar or muannas? Which one are you? Right. Okay, so we're okay with that, yeah? Muzakkar or muannas. Okay, so watching the time. I wanted to do a few exercises with you, but we've run out of time. Alright, so what we'll do next lesson, we'll do some exercises just to reinforce that we're all okay with these words. Just remember these things. So what we've covered, just as a quick overview, we've done kalima, 3 types, ism, fi'l and harf. Ism, fi'l and harf. We've left fi'l and harf to one side. We've done ism, ma'rifa and nakira, right? Definite, indefinite. And then we've just gone into the alif lam, which means the. Then we've now gone through the, is it called ding? Ding, yeah. So what was the first one? Definite, we've done that. Was I, i'rab, we've done that, alif lam. Next one is numbers, which we have gone into, and gender. So we're going to finish off gender on Thursday, and then we'll get into numbers. Are you all okay with that? Anyone struggling? Anyone feeling like this is enough now? Like genders just killed me off. No, we're okay? Right, alhamdulillah. Any questions? Come on. On the group, I will share some vocabs. I will, if someone's interested, I'll try and write or do a short video for you just explaining this, just so you can. It's just like it adds to your general knowledge. I love learning things with general knowledge. I'll never know. I might get up on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire one day, and I might, have read something random. I like reading random facts, so just random stuff, and so just having good general vocab and understanding of words, and like the more you give to it. So like maybe get a keyboard and Arabic set up on your phone and just like play with it. Like just search Quran ayats. Search hadith, get used to using an Arabic keyboard on your phone, right? Just small things like that, because you eventually want to be at that stage. Eventually, in a few lessons, in a few months' time, you'll be like, oh, Marana taught us this. Let me see if someone's written about it in Arabic, and I'll just Google it in Arabic, right? And so you can start really getting used to accessing things in Arabic as well. Anyone else got questions? All right, I'll see you all on Thursday for God's well, inshallah.